Thank you so much for attending my presentation. Today I want to talk about Hadal M-Throw. So what is M-Throw? M-Throw, or mask throw, is exactly what it sounds like. I really don't know who invented it or found it, but I first found it out from Gomia. I hope I read that right. If you're watching this and I pronounced it badly, I'm sorry. For those who don't know, Ritualist on Shaman exchanges your uproot spell for masks, which each give their respective buffs and debuffs. Haunting Memory allows you to throw these masks forwards to deal damage and apply debuffs, and Masquerade helps us by giving you 30 mana whenever you cycle masks 2 times. The idea of M-Throw is a spell shaman that deals most of the damage this way by mask swapping. This is also really valuable in team settings, mostly in TNA, where you're kiting something and your teammates can benefit really well from the debuffs you apply. But who's here for that? We just want to have funny shaman 4th spam and see those beautiful red debuff icons. Now in theory, M-Throw can work for every relic, though Hadal is probably the best user of it. Rezo looks interesting. You do a fair bit less damage, but you can get really low uproot costs, but that doesn't really matter, which I'll get into that later. Back in pre-2.1, M-Throw was held back by how fast you can cycle without losing mana, and it wasn't that efficient overall. You also had almost no leeway at all for miscasts, as well as weaving anything except for the basic spell cycle. Alright, moving on. There were some changes made to Shaman, but none were really that big of a deal to Ritualist, aside from Frog Dance, which they absolutely gutted afterwards, and increasing Seeking Totem speed, which is nice, but not really that big. And Mask Throw will also benefit pretty well from some of the aspects. So, now this exists. Black Space. Masquerade now grants 75 mana. 75 mana? With all that, you have like all the mana you'll ever need for M-Throw, and you can add even more stuff in. Want to recast a totem somewhere and add in a couple auras or just add some extra mask throws into the cycle? No f***ing problem. For this reason, Rezo, it doesn't really matter what the 75 mana Black Space gives. Though if you were to play traditional M-Throw, Resonance would probably work. Black Space I can also see being used in traditional Shaman builds, since that way they can use masks as a way of like pseudo mana sustain while applying debuffs. If you're interested, I left my updated version of Gomi's build in the description. Unfortunately, I still don't really see the playstyle gaining much usage or traction, especially with how strong Abso and the other Shaman playstyles are in most raids. M-Throw pretty much works exclusively and only for TNA, though it might work in TCC. You don't have that much EHP and rely on walk speed for survivability, so TCC might be a problem. But on the other hand, Shaman is fundamentally amazing for TCC, with like all the hold rooms and the stationary boss, so, you know. However, in TNA, I hope we see some more M-Throw usage, especially with the build meta shifting more to like an Rainbow or a Slap and a bulkier stage with less damage, where the debuffs of M-Throw might be valued a bit more. Greg definitely did. Well, the boss fight definitely did get a lot harder, but I feel like M-Throw can probably pull it off, especially with someone like a Spell Spam or a T-Stack Sharp taking full advantage of those debuffs. And here a Beast Scream would definitely be there as well. In conclusion, M-Throw is a funny playstyle that got a very funny new item. Hopefully it gets used more and someone watching this gets the urge to do some funnies in TNA. If you enjoyed this presentation, please consider liking or subscribing, and as always, thank you so much for watching.